Well, it's one of the original lies from Donald Trump, right? Remember, it was, I think, on Meet the Press where he promised as then-candidate Trump to release his tax returns, and all these years later, they still have not been put forward, and it begs the question, why? What do you have to hide? That will be of tremendous interest. I think also, too, one thing I know that Democrats are watching is how Republicans will respond to this avalanche of disclosure that's coming out, how they'll respond to the criminal referrals that the January 6th committee is going to make. Remember, these same Republicans next year are going to take the reins of power, and they're going to expect their subpoenas to be complied with. They're going to expect their oversight mandates to be recognized and perceived to be legitimate. Yet here they are, some of those very Republicans like Jim Jordan, Kevin McCarthy, perhaps going to be referred to the Ethics Committee about their refusal to comply with congressional subpoenas. You cannot issue subpoenas on one hand and say it's okay to ignore them with the other. Yeah. There's going to be a massive inconsistency there, and Democrats are going to point that out every single time Jim Jordan and Republicans issue a subpoena.
Well, exactly. I mean, and these people that have refused to comply with any of the subpoenas are some of the leaders, some of the people that are going to be leading the Republican Party in the House. So, again, the big question is, if they don't comply with any subpoenas, why should any Democrat? They've once again outthought themselves, once again undermined their own position. Kurt, you are great at telling us how the Republicans did things, because you were there when they were investigating Benghazi. You were there when they were really aggressive on their oversight. What's your advice to Democrats and the Oversight Committee for the remaining 3 weeks or so that they have? What's at the top of the list of what they need to get done?
I think that they need to be as aggressive and active as possible, because here we have on the other side of the Capitol Hill, the Senate is Democratic. We actually have a majority, and we're going to have, for the first time in this administration, more Democrats on the panel than Republicans, subpoena authority, the ability to commence and launch investigations. The House needs to use every single day they have left to put out there any possible thread that they'll want the Senate Democrat majority to pick up on and run with. You have the power right now. There are so many things that it's a target-rich environment, whether it's Trump's tax returns, whether it's the deals that Jared Kushner was involved in, whether it was the deals that Jared and Ivanka were involved with while in the White House working in the West Wing. For all the talk that we're going to hear about Hunter Biden, there's plenty of scrutiny to be had about the people who actually worked in the West Wing, in the White House, under the Donald Trump administration.
So Kurt, we keep hearing about this deadline that's coming up when the Republicans take control of the House. It's almost as if when you hear this talk that Democrats are going to be helpless to issue subpoenas, Democrats are going to be helpless to be able to do things they need to do to continue these investigations of January 6th and Donald Trump. It's almost like the people that are saying that are writing that are opining about it, forget that Democrats are going to be running the United States Senate. I'm curious, why wouldn't some of this January 6th work be transferred over to the Democrats running the Senate?
Well, and that's why I think it's so important that they're having these meetings this week, that they're going to release a ton of information, 1,000-plus pages, into the public record, which allows anyone, including the United States Senate, to pick up on those threads of investigation, things that we don't know about yet, more information that we haven't seen enter public light, and take it further if it needs to. I mean, that's why it's important to have a public record. People ask, why are they waiting until the last minute? Why at the end of the year are they doing this? It's because you need to enter this information, this evidence, this testimony into the public record that will allow everyone else around to utilize that going forward. And if there needs to be another step in the investigation, the Senate will have the information to do that now.
Hey, Kurt, the White House has suggested that they'll cooperate with Republican investigations, even allowing that some of the matters are legitimate, that we could have a healthy political debate, they say, about, say, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, perhaps less legitimate things about Hunter Biden's laptop. But talk to us a little bit about the trap the Republicans could run into here, not just because the Senate also has subpoena power, but that risk of overreach, because it's not just the Republicans in charge. It's so many of the extremists have been empowered there. We know whoever is Speaker, we know Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to certainly have a lot to say, and she's just one of many of her ilk. So talk to us about how the Republicans could potentially overextend themselves and things could backfire.
You know, one of the things that the Obama White House misfired on during my time back at the Oversight Committee was they would stretch out our investigations, our negotiations, rather than just do something that would kind of put us in a bind where we had to act or go away. I think that the Biden White House posture of, yeah, we're going to cooperate with some of this stuff. You want to talk about Afghanistan? We're not going to play the game of we're going to withhold, we're going to negotiate, we're going to wait and see, we're going to drag this out over a period of months. They'll put up a witness, they'll have to have that hearing, and then they'll have to move on. The big enemy here for Democrats is extending these investigations longer than they need to be. The trap for Republicans is going to be over-promising and under-delivering. And they're already losing the game. Going out there right now and making all these proclamations about the corruption they're going to find without actually having any of the goods, without actually having any of the evidence, is just complete political malfeasance and incompetence. When you're running an oversight investigation, you don't go out there and lead thumping your chest saying you're going to do all these things without having a shred of evidence. It's complete idiocy.
And they keep doing that to me, because that's the amazing thing. They did it with the Durham investigation as well. They got out front. They said a lot of really stupid things that ended up being wrong. A lot of newspapers published a lot of really stupid editorials that ended up being wrong about Durham. They are over-promising and under-delivering time and time again.
Kurt Bardella, thank you very much for being on this morning. All right.